प्रचार so far for Labour in UK.
It is a huge privilege to be re-elected to serve this constituency, the incredible community of Holborn and St Pancras.
Historic defeat for Rishi Sunak.
To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all, but you have sent a clear signal that the government of the United Kingdom must change.
Sunak and Akshata leave 10 Downing Street. Starmer's Labour ready to lead.
We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second.
King Keir is a top focus.
Hello and welcome to the special broadcast of Race for 10 Downing Street here in London. The country has voted for change and Sir Keir Starmer was appointed the new Prime Minister of Great Britain by King Charles for the next 5 years. Ousted Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, in his speech, apologised to the country and to his party, has also acknowledged the anger of the people. 14 years of Conservative rule has come to an end, and this landslide Labour victory is a victory of an anti-Conservative vote. So much so that even a small party like the Greens have made their debut in the House of Commons.
The 4th of July night, as the counting began, stretching to 5th July morning, it turned out to be an astonishing result. Beyond the stupendous scale of Labour's overall victory, it was a night of shock results, big swings and unexpected upsets. The incumbent UK Prime Minister won from the Richmond constituency but lost his job at 10 Downing Street.
To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all.
Sir Keir Starmer moves on from being the leader of opposition to the top job in the House of Commons with a stunning victory of scoring 400 plus seats.
We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second.
The man whom Starmer replaced in 2020 as the leader of Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, won convincingly, fighting as an independent as his former party barred him. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves has won the Leeds West and Pudsey constituency.
We have campaigned as we mean to go on, as a government of unity, not of division, a government of wealth creation and a government in the national interest. Country first, party second. That is our promise to Britain. That is my promise to the people of Leeds West and Pudsey. We will not let you down. I will not let you down. And I can't wait to get started.
The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Ed Davey, after an action-packed campaign where he fell into a lake, careered down a water slide and did a bungee jump in antics, retained his outer London constituency of Kingston and Surbiton. His party has achieved its best ever result at 70 plus seats.
Tonight the Liberal Democrats are on for our best result for over a century. And I'm really proud that our party has fought so positively during this campaign, particularly putting the reforming and fixing the crisis in our health and care system right at the forefront. And the many Liberal Democrat MPs who are being elected tonight are going to continue to fight to sort out health and care so the people of our great country can get the health and care they deserve.
Green Party co-leader Adrian Ramsay forced into Conservative bastion in Suffolk, Norfolk rural area. In fact, the Greens had a spectacularly good night by the standards of a minor party. It has for long struggled to break through the electoral system in previous elections. It has quadrupled its number of Commons seats to 4. Conservatives had the worst night. Not only were their numbers reduced, big shots like the former Prime Minister Liz Truss, Defence Minister Grant Shapps have lost. Scottish National Party has been reduced to single digit from its previous tally of 46 in 2019.
Yeah, I feel I feel better today than I did yesterday, I think. I feel pretty tired. I was up all night watching it. So, yeah, excited for something needs to happen, I think. I think the country needs it. It's not the same, you know, I was a child in '97. I don't think it's quite that kind of spirit. But I'm hopeful that the new government will come in with some plans. I think if they move quickly, then we can we might be able to find some hope, even though it doesn't feel like they've managed to find it in the campaign so much.
I think the future will be better. I think the future will be more better now. So since the Labour Party is in power now, I think the country will be more better in terms of job, in terms of safety. So there will be more of protection in the country and more job for the country.
People need the change. Now we have a change. But what that change will bring is waiting to see, because there's no money. Without the money, no growth. Without the growth, you cannot make public services work properly.
British newspapers have hailed the Labour landslide, but Sir Keir Starmer, as the new Prime Minister, has a tough task to deliver to satisfy the anti-establishment vote that has catapulted his party to power.
After 7 failed attempts, finally Nigel Farage of the right-wing Reform UK party won a seat in the seaside town of Clacton on the Sea.
There's no enthusiasm for Labour, there's no enthusiasm for Starmer whatsoever. In fact, about half of the vote is simply an anti-Conservative vote. This Labour government will be in trouble very, very quickly. We will now be targeting Labour votes. We're coming for Labour, be in no doubt about that. Great stuff.
We know the politician Keir Starmer. Here are some other aspects about his life. Now, Keir Starmer is also an avid soccer player. He was named after Keir Hardie, the first Labour leader. Today, Keir Starmer himself has become one of the tallest leaders of the party. He's also a musician who learned under Norman Cook in school. Norman Cook, the bassist at the House of Martins, and today also known as DJ Fatboy Slim. Take a look at this report, The Rise of Keir Starmer.
He's the man of the moment, the leader of opposition, the leader of Labour Party, the leader who has led his party to a historic landslide victory. That was last achieved by Tony Blair in 1997. 61-year-old barrister turned politician Sir Keir Starmer has been elected by Britons to lead the country for next 5 years.
We did it! You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now. And it feels good, I have to be honest. 4.5 years of work changing the party. This is what it is for. A changed Labour Party, ready to serve our country, ready to restore Britain to the service of working people.
The Labour Party's fortunes have turned around under Sir Keir Starmer. After the debacle, 200 seats were won in the 2019 general election under Jeremy Corbyn's stewardship. Sir Keir Starmer was elected as the party leader in 2020.
It is the honour and the privilege of my life to be elected as leader of the Labour Party. It comes at a moment like none other in our lifetime.
For the next 4 years, he worked relentlessly to steer the Labour Party away from left to centre left. His efforts resulted in a restoration of the party's ties with the sizable Indian diaspora, which were damaged by his predecessor's perceived anti-India attitude on Kashmir. When the Equality and Human Rights Commission report came out within months of him assuming the leadership of the party, finding serious faults in the Labour Party's dealing with allegations of anti-Semitism within its ranks, Sir Keir Starmer bowed his head in shame while Corbyn was suspended from the Parliament after he downplayed the report.
The report's conclusions are clear and stark. They leave no room for equivocation. The report finds serious failings in leadership, processes and culture in dealing with anti-Semitism within our party.
This lawyer by profession was honoured by the late Queen Elizabeth II for his services to law and criminal justice. His wife is an NHS nurse. They are the model British Labour family. In Parliament, as the Tories grappled with Prime Minister crisis after the resignation of his long-time political adversary, then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He was the first to take the ruling party to task.
Mr. Speaker, may I welcome the new cabinet to their places? We have a new Chancellor who accepted a job from the Prime Minister on Wednesday afternoon and then told him to quit on Thursday morning. A new Northern Ireland Secretary who once asked if you need a passport to get to Derry. And the new Education Secretary whose junior ministers have literally been giving the middle finger to the public. It is truly the country's loss that they will only be in post for a few weeks. Now, the Prime Minister must be feeling demop happy since he was pushed out of office. Finally, he can throw off the shackles, say what he really thinks, and forget about following the rules.
Sir Keir Starmer was first elected to the London Parliament in 2015. In the last close to a decade of active politics, he has constantly strived to make working-class issues centrepiece in policy making.
Mr. Speaker, the only mandate she's ever had is from members opposite. It was a mandate built on fantasy economics and it ended in disaster. The country's got nothing to show for it except the destruction of the economy and the implosion of the Tory party. I've got the list here. 45p tax cut, gone. Corporation tax cut, gone. 20p tax cut, gone. 2-year energy freeze, gone. Tax-free shopping, gone. Economic credibility, gone. And her supposed best friend, the former Chancellor, he's gone as well. They're all gone. So why is she still here?
Mr. Speaker, I am a fighter and not a quitter.
But then she quit and Rishi Sunak came to power. In 6 months after Sunak became the Prime Minister, Conservative Party faced a bleak set of local election results in May 2023. Conservative Party suffered a net loss of 218 seats, while Starmer's Labour added 118 seats and the centrist Liberal Democrats gained 57.
And make no mistake, we are on course for a Labour majority at the next general election.
A year later, with the plunging ratings, Rishi Sunak announced elections ahead of time and Sir Keir Starmer smirked.
No matter what else is said and done, that opportunity for change is what this election is about. But a vote for Labour is a vote to turn the page on all that. A vote for change.
Starmer kicked off his election campaign arguing that only his party could snap the country out of its economic and political malaise. A month and a half later, his smile is broader and confident as he prepares to take over the key to 10 Downing Street, where Larry the cat, far and away the most famous permanent resident of Downing Street, waits for him.
Keir Starmer is the new UK PM. But what does this landslide victory really mean for India? Starmer has been stressing on the importance and significance of cultivating ties with India on various fronts: immigration, visa, international cooperation, trade. Let's take a look at this detailed report.
We did it! You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
One of the areas where change is expected is immigration. The outgoing government, led by Rishi Sunak, shocked UK by transporting illegal immigrants out of Rwanda, even as boatloads of immigrants kept crossing the English Channel into England. The new government is expected to reset the policy and a huge boost for aspirants from India focus on skill-based immigration. This is what Keir Starmer had said about immigration last year at the Indian Global Forum.
Well, we need to get the skills balance right, and at the moment, I just don't think we've got a skills strategy to speak of. So we need the skills strategy. We need to therefore look at what skills we do have, what skills we do need. And at the moment, there's just a complete mismatch out there, I think.
The new Labour government in the UK, which returns after sitting in opposition benches for 14 years, is also expected to fast forward the free trade agreement with India. The FTA has been on the negotiating table for 30 months and despite 14 rounds of negotiations, is no closer to being signed. The new party in its manifesto has said that it would seek a new strategic partnership with India, including a free trade agreement as well as deepening cooperation in areas like security, education, technology and climate change.
A relationship based on our shared values of democracy and aspiration that will seek a free trade agreement. We share that ambition, but also a new strategic partnership for global security, climate security, economic security. This is the essential truth of the world we live in.
Experts, however, believe that there could be some minor changes to the FTA based on the new government's priorities. However, UK remains keen on a trade deal with India, especially after Brexit. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
It is the end of Rishi Raj in UK. Rishi Sunak and Akshata have moved out of 10 Downing Street here and moved back to their mansion in Richmond. Rishi Sunak in the past has donned many hats, that of a banker, public speaker, editor of a newspaper. What next?
A historic mandate for Keir Starmer, translating to the end of Rishi Raj in UK. Rishi Sunak has conceded defeat, and so far the only silver lining for Sunak has been that he's held on to his seat, Richmond in North England.
I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. To all the Conservative candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I am sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service.
Sunak and Akshata soon after speech moved out of 10 Downing Street as crowds waved to them, signalling the end of Sunak's reign as PM.
I will never forgive them for that.
Okay.
You know.
So bye-bye Tories for you.
So yeah, it's a great gig.
So what next for Sunak? The outgoing British Prime Minister will remain a parliamentarian and is expected to move back to his Richmond mansion with his wife Akshata Murthy and their 2 daughters. Rishi Sunak calls his beautiful mansion home the Kirby Singston Manor, which he bought in 2015 for a whopping £1.5 million or about 14 crore rupees. This ancient mansion that stood tall since the 1800s has been refurbished with a pool, gym and a tennis court. The property even has a lake and a boathouse. He may be out as a UK Prime Minister, but he's still going to be super busy now with corporate commitments which were on pause while he served the country. A banker, a public speaker, an editor for newspaper. Sunak has donned many hats, and so he has a platter of offers to choose from today. Rishi Sunak, known famously to be richer than King Charles, is looking at a chance of address now, back from the London to Richmond. But seeing what awaits him at home, he perhaps has a whole lot to look forward to despite losing the election. Bureau Report, India Today.
The youngest leader in British modern history who took office as Prime Minister in the autumn of 2022, Rishi Sunak was just 42 years old. He's not only the first Indian origin to have made it as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, but also the youngest occupant of 10 Downing Street in 210 years. Let's take a look at the story of Rishi Sunak as he signed out of this office and this residence.
Born in Southampton in 1980 to Hindu parents of Punjabi Indian descent, Rishi Sunak became the third Tory Prime Minister since 2019's favourable mandate. Married to Akshata Murthy, daughter of Infosys founder Narayan Murthy, they were the power couple. Sunak and his wife Akshata Murthy grabbed a spot on the Sunday Times Rich list in May 2022. He was the Chancellor of Exchequer then. Sunak became the first prominent British politician to have entered the UK's wealthiest people list. From investment banker to the top spot in British politics, it's been a checkered career for Rishi Sunak. An Oxford University and Stanford graduate, Rishi Sunak's political career formally took off after he became the Member of Parliament in 2015 from Richmond, Yorkshire. A lifelong Brexiter, he campaigned for leaving the economic bloc, and he got his first ministerial berth under Theresa May as number 3 at the newly renamed Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government in 2018. A year of power battle, later when Javid resigned, Rishi Sunak became the Chancellor of Exchequer or the Finance Minister.
Delighted to be appointed, lots to get on with. Thanks very much.
This made him the first minister of Indian origin to hold one of the highest offices in the UK government. Rishi Sunak was praised during the COVID-19 lockdown for his series of mini-budgets that introduced measures such as the furlough scheme that went on to save many jobs and businesses. He was pitted as a clear favourite to succeed Johnson as the Tory leader. In 2022, Sunak faced awkward questions about his wife's finances after she confirmed she did not pay taxes on her foreign earnings. Rishi Sunak survived, but he since has been scarred as being the privileged leader, disassociated with the struggle of the middle class. Soon after Sunak's personal controversy, political crisis erupted as criticism grew of Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Dogged by scandals that included breaches of COVID-19 pandemic lockdown rules, a luxury renovation of his official residence, and the appointment of a minister who had been accused of sexual misconduct, Johnson tried to shore up his leadership in June 2022. Rishi Sunak resigned on 5th July 2022, saying he had reluctantly concluded that, and I quote, "We cannot continue like this," unquote. He was accused by some in the Conservative Party of bringing down their hero, Boris Johnson, as a spate of resignations by ministers followed. 2 days later, Boris Johnson stepped down as Prime Minister.
Let's be clear.
This triggered a leadership election in the Conservative Party. Sunak joined the race but lost to Liz Truss. She in turn lasted for 49 days. After a chaotic 49 days, financial markets were spooked, debt was rocketing and the party deeply split. Truss was dropped by the Conservative Party and Rishi Sunak returned as party leader.
I know the high office I have accepted, and I hope to live up to its demands. But when the opportunity to serve comes along, you cannot question the moment, only your willingness. So I stand here before you, ready to lead our country into the future, to put your needs above politics, to reach out and build a government that represents the very best traditions of my party.
Rishi Sunak's appointment as Britain's 5th Prime Minister in 8 years was seen as a stabilising move, with his focus on fiscal prudence, a less antagonistic attitude to the European Union and his success in restoring a power-sharing government in Northern Ireland. But with many of the problems he has tried to tackle, he has struggled to define what he stands for. In the next year and a half as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak emerged more as a stickler for detail than a big picture man.
We did it in COVID and we will do that again.
He even tried to turn things around by reshuffling his cabinet 7 months before he announced elections. It saw the return of former leader David Cameron and the sacking of former Interior Minister Suella Braverman.
Rishi Sunak.
But the public image for the Tory rule refused to improve. With plunging rating, Rishi Sunak played his last card. He announced the elections much ahead of time, perhaps hoping to surprise the wind out of his opposition's sail to shore up the sinking ship of his party.
Earlier today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
After weathering attempts to remove him, Rishi Sunak, whose approval ratings are even worse than those Liz Truss had, entered the election with the hope that he can at least stem the hemorrhaging of support from the Conservatives.
That's all we have time for in this special broadcast from London. Goodbye and take care.